In today's video, I want to take you along on a shoot that my team did at HIIT The Deck NYC, a boxing gym located in Lower Manhattan. Throughout this shoot that included headshots, portraits, action shots, and video work, we used a variety of mixed lighting that included Godox strobes, NAD lights, and Lume Cube tube lights. And I'm going to show you the hows and the whys of what we did while on location and give you an inside look of what it's like to do a shoot like this in a place like New York as a portrait photographer. What's up everyone, Pete Coco here. Thank you as always for joining me. Now don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share this video. While you're down in the description, check out my gear page at B&H Photo. Special thanks to Fujifilm for sending me a GFX 100 for review, and to Lume Cube for sending me a Tube Light XL, both of which you're going to see a little bit of in this video. Now the images in this video were created by myself and by my associate photographer, John Kiefer. Go give John a follow on Instagram at JK Photo New York, and don't forget to follow me at Pete Coco Photo as well. Our shoot at HIIT The Deck NYC began with this Instagram photo that was taken and posted by my associate John. He tagged the gym in the photo, and the owner, Steven, liked this photo so much that he shared it on his own story. Now, this led to a friendly conversation between John and Steven, and ultimately to us being booked to create a full day of content that included headshots, portraits, video, action shots, and more, which you're going to see in this video. And the timing for all of this was perfect because I had recently received a Tube Light XL from Lume Cube for review, and a boxing gym is really the perfect spot to use a product like a tube light because it's portable, it's bright, and it makes it very easy to add a pop of color into your portraits in order to create really powerful results that stand out. So going into the shoot, we knew that the tube light would be used pretty extensively for both the still and the video work. Now, the first thing you should know about working in New York is that time is money. And the people here are actually very nice despite our reputation. And this was true for the entire team at HIIT The Deck. However, after arriving and settling with our gear, we were informed that one of the trainers needed to leave in 5 minutes, so we had to get his headshot done really quickly. Now, this is where experience comes in, because as a portrait photographer, you often need to survey your location and quickly find a spot that's going to look good and create fantastic results. So I decided that one light was also the way to go instead of trying to set up multiple lights and overcomplicate things. We quickly picked a spot, took a Godox 200 flash in a small parabolic softbox, and cranked out some awesome headshots. John had the great idea to pose the staff in front of their logo, which was on the back wall, and we used a pretty dramatic lighting for the headshots since this is, after all, a boxing gym. We had about 5 minutes with each of the trainers, and for these shots, John photographed them while I held the modifier in place and I coached them because it was so loud in the gym between the music and the workouts that they would have not been able to hear him from behind his camera. So here I am holding this light above their heads and telling them not to look at me, but that I'm going to say things to make them laugh, and also I'm going to give them some posing tips. And if you want a natural expression from anyone, you need to make them laugh. Oh, this is awesome. Oh my God. If I wasn't married, I'd be proposing right now. So I was there saying whatever it took to get them to open up and give me an engaging look. Now, I always say that you have to be a psychologist to be a great portrait photographer because you need to size up each individual client quickly and figure out how to make them let their guard down and feel good to enjoy the process of being photographed. And it's a challenge because it's different with each person. So you really have to have a deep understanding of people in order to be successful in this industry. So after we finished everyone's headshots, Steven wanted to do some action shots in the ring that showed him as he trained his boxers. So John and I decided that a bare spotlight in the background would be an excellent way to give our content that real-world boxing ring vibe. So we took the Nanlite Forza 300, cranked it to full power with no modifier, and intentionally shot video and stills of the boxers with the light directly behind them as a backlight. We used the LumeCube tube light to add a blue tint to the back wall and to the company logo, and just placed it on the floor. And instead of trying to avoid lens flares, I purposely shot in such a way as to include the flares to really finish off the raw, gritty look. So while I was shooting video, John was shooting stills, and in this way we created a lot of awesome content for our client. The other cool thing was that because the spotlight was behind them, we could also shoot from the other side of the ring and have a very bright light on them so that not everything had to be the same lighting. So we were going from one side of the ring to the other and getting a variety of angles and poses, and then we even used it as a sort of Rembrandt light to shoot from the side as well. So one thing you want to keep in mind and always remember that it's so easy to forget as a photographer is that you need to move around. And it sounds silly, but it's so true. So make sure if you're doing a location shoot, you want to be moving around. You want to be moving around all the time because the lighting is going to change completely depending on where you're standing. Now going into this shoot, I knew that mixed lighting, which was going to combine ambient, strobes, and continuous light, was going to be the way to go. And I also knew that the LumeCube Tube Light XL would be a great choice as a rim light for our subjects, since you can easily dial in any color you want, and because it's portable and has a long-lasting battery. So for these images, which were taken by my associate photographer, John, I stood behind the bag, holding the tube light so that it spilled a blue rim light onto the subject's shoulder and side of their face. And for the key light, John used the Godox 8200 in a small parabolic softbox. Now the blue kick adds so much to composition, especially for a subject like a boxer, because of the drama, the coolness it gives the image, but also because, once again, it simulates the lighting that a boxer is going to encounter when they're in the ring. And I'll also mention here that using mixed lighting is really not easy, and going into the shoot, I wasn't sure if the LumeCube would be bright enough when mixed with a powerful strobe, so we were both really impressed and surprised with how well it performed in this pretty difficult situation. If you've followed my portrait work for any amount of time, you know that I absolutely love using continuous lights in my studio, and that the majority of my portrait work at this point is done mostly with continuous lights. So when Steven asked us to take some shots featuring the upstairs level of HIIT The Deck NYC, which has this awesome huge mural on the wall, I found what I felt was the perfect spot to pose his team for some dramatic posed portraits. Now my goal was to incorporate my own personal portrait style into the location shoot and to give Steven and his team portraits that were not at all the typical gym headshots. So I used the same lighting that I use day in and day out at my studio. And I took a Nanlite with a bare reflector and positioned it just above the head, camera left. And then I had my associate John hold the tube light, camera right, to add a blue fill light to the other side of the subject. And I stuck with blue as our fill light because I wanted there to be cohesion between the action shots, the video, and the portraits. And for these shots, I also used the Fujifilm GFX 100, which I will talk about more in another video, but as you probably already know, the quality is amazing and the camera is awesome and a lot of fun to use. Although I wanted to include the mural in the background, I also didn't want it to distract from the subject, and I wanted the final image not to look too very busy. So I didn't throw any light on the background. Now, there is a lot more to say about doing a location shoot as a portrait photographer, but I hope that this video has given you a little glimpse into what it's like and maybe even inspired you if you're an aspiring photographer yourself. Logistics, planning, communication, people skills, being flexible in your plan, and approaching every situation from the place of wanting to do your very best and go the extra mile for your client are just a few of the things that you must do in order to be a successful portrait photographer. At the end of the day, every shoot that we do is a huge learning experience, so my team and I go away from each one having grown and been made better for it, even if things don't go perfectly as planned. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you all so much for pushing me past 10,000 subscribers. I mean, a year and a half ago, I wouldn't have dreamed that my channel would have over 10,000 subscribers, and I really know it's only the beginning, so thank you so much. Please make sure to visit my sponsors below because they make these videos possible, and if you're buying any gear, I would greatly appreciate if you use my B&H or Amazon links below. Here's wishing you a great day. Go out and take some awesome pictures, my friends, and I will see you in the next one. Peace!